Good day everyone, this video is for the laboratory exercise of Chapter 9, Access Control List for the course of Data Communications and Networking 2. So on this laboratory exercise, we're gonna need 6 PC hosts, 3 switches, and 3 routers. So the IP addresses for the PC host and for the ports that we are gonna use has been given on the laboratory exercise document. And it is here, as you can see on the screen, the addresses for the PC host and the addresses for the ports that we are going to use. So before we started recording the video, we have already configured the IP addresses, subnet mask, and default gateway for each of the PC hosts, where the default gateway for the PC host is the IP address of the FA0/0 port of where the switch is connected to the router. So after configuring the topology and cabling the network, we have configured the IP addresses of each host on the network. So the next thing that we would like to do is to configure the IP addresses of the ports that we are using. Okay, but before that, we're gonna need to do the housekeeping, which is configuring the host name, disabling the IP domain lookup or the DNS lookup, enabling the password for the exec mode, creating a banner, creating a password for the console and for the virtual terminal lines, and encrypting the password that we have set or configured for security purposes. So since this name is host name R3, let's go on with R3. Okay, let's modify the host name to R2 and copy and paste the same code to R2. Okay, lastly for R1, okay. Now those codes are the basic configurations or the basic setup that is usually done by all those people who configures the routers. So after doing those configurations, let's move on to assigning the IP addresses on the ports. Okay, so we have here the IP addresses for the R1. Okay, as you can see here, we are using the serial port 00/0, and the IP address for that port is 192.170.1.1. And for the port 001 of serial port, the IP address is 192.170.2.1. The IP address for the FA0/0 is 10.1.1.1. So let's move on to router 2. Oops, sorry. Okay, we made a mistake in copying and pasting. Okay, this is R1, and this is R2. Okay, now let's move on with configuring the IP addresses on R2. As you can see here, we are using port serial 0/0/0, where the IP address is 192.170.1.2. Serial port 001 is 192.170.3.1, and FA0/0 port is 10.1.2.1. Now let's move on with the R3. Okay, so we are using the port 000, the serial port. 192.170.2.2 is the IP address for the serial port 000, and for the serial port 001 is 192.170.3.2. FA00 port has the address of 10.1.3.1. Now that we have configured the IP addresses for the hosts and the IP addresses of the ports that we are using, we will move on with configuring the OSPF for this network. So let's move on with the R1. Okay, so the networks that we are declaring are the networks that are directly connected to the router that we are configuring currently, and the wildcard mask of the network, followed by what area would it belong to. So we're just gonna need to do the same things on routers on the router 2 and 3, so that all the PC hosts could communicate with each other, whether it's on the same network or not. Okay, let's move on with R2. Lastly, the R3. Okay, now that we have also configured the OSPF for this networks, let's use the pass forward here. Let's try to send a ping from this network to this network. As you can see, it's successful. And from this network to this network. Okay, and from the router 3 network to the router 1. As you can see, all of the networks are communicating very well, and all the packets that has been sent was successful. However, on this laboratory exercise, it is said that the hosts on router 3 should not be able to ping or access R2, and PC11 on R1 can access hosts on R2. So we're gonna need to set restrictions, and we're gonna do that using the ACL configuration. So moving on. Okay, so we're gonna need to use this commands on R2, which are given on the document. Okay, as you can see here, we gave access. We denied the address 10.1.3.0 and 10.1.1.0. We permitted access to the host 10.1.1.11, and then all the other access are permitted. Okay, so in access list 10, because we are using access list group 10, the IP interface of router 2 port 00000 is on the access group of the group 10, same as the serial port 001. So this code should help us satisfy the conditions for the document, which is the router 3 should not be able to access host on a router 2. So let's try that using the command, using a ping, trying to send a ping. So router 3 should not be able to access hosts on router 2. So you can see here it's failed, and no matter how many times you retry, it's still failed. So we have successfully met the first condition. Now for the second condition, where PC11 on R1 can access host on R2, and it says that only PC11. So PC11 okay, has successfully sent a ping or a packet to both PCs on router 2. However, PC 1-2 should not be able to send a packet, which we will verify right now. Okay, no matter how many times you will try it, it is going to be failed because we have only permitted the IP address on PC 1-1 to reach the PCs on the router 2. And that concludes this laboratory exercise. Thank you and have a nice day.